Bismillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of MuslimahWriters Q&A. I am your host, Sister Naima B. Robert, award-winning writer, publisher, and trainer-in-chief at MuslimahWriters.com. Right, so today's episode is actually based on a very common sentiment that I hear around sisters who would like to write or who have started on their writing journey. And that is, what if I'm not good enough? Okay. We as writers in general suffer from a lot of mental barriers when it comes to succeeding as writers. But sisters have like extra layers of baggage that we have to deal with. And so in this video, I would like to work on 4 mindset shifts that I advise you to take if you would like to find success on your journey as a writer, inshallah. So it's 4 mindset shifts that I feel every writer needs to make in order for them to make progress as a writer, inshallah. So the first statement that many people end up saying to themselves is, I can't write, okay? I can't write. I'm not a good writer, I don't have good vocabulary, I don't have any ideas, I don't have this and I don't have this and I don't have that, okay? So I would like you, if you do suffer from that kind of mindset of, well, I can't write anyway, I was never good at writing at school, I didn't even get a good English GCSE and all those types of negative thoughts, I'd like you to replace those thoughts and that sentiment with, I am writing or I will write. So rather than telling yourself, I can't write, say, I will write, or I am writing, and start writing. Because at the end of the day, writing, especially in its first stages, is a private journey, okay? You should not be thinking about a readership when you first start writing. You shouldn't be thinking of an audience or an editor or agents or publishers. You just start writing, because the more you write, and feed into that writing, the better you'll be. And the more you write, the more you will conquer that voice that's saying you can't write, because you're like, well, I am writing, so what are you trying to say? Okay, so that's the first mindset shift that I advise all sisters to take. The second is, I don't have time. This is a really big one, especially if you have a family or you have a full-time job. I don't have time is often cited as the reason why we don't develop ourselves as writers. So I invite you to replace the phrase, I don't have time, with, I am going to make time. We all know that within our day, we have time that is urgent. You know, we have tasks that are urgent and important. We have tasks that are urgent but not so important. We have tasks that are not important but are urgent. And then we have tasks that are not important and not urgent, okay? We do have windows where we maybe be relaxing or be sort of distracted or kind of maybe not making the best use of that time. But I challenge you to find 10 minutes a day in your schedule just to do some free writing. 10 minutes a day to do some free writing so that you can replace I don't have time with I am making time. So that's the second mindset shift. The third mindset shift that I invite you to make is no one will read it, okay? A lot of writers do have, especially when they've started writing and they're actually working on a project, at a certain point, that internal voice says, what are you writing this for anyway? No one's going to read it, okay? It's not good enough. No one cares about your story. Who do you think you are anyway to tell this story? And all those types of negative sentiments that the internal editor is busy blah, 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 blah in your head. So I invite you to replace that sentiment and replace that phrase with, I write to tell my story. Those who need to hear it will hear it. I write to tell my story. Those who need to hear it will hear it. Because that's the truth. At the end of the day, you speak what you need to speak. You write what you need to write. And whoever needs to hear what you're saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring them and they will hear what you're saying. But you tell your story and let Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take care of the rest. So I invite you to replace all of that, who am I to tell this story? No one's going to read it. Who cares about what I think? Replace that I invite you to replace that with, I am here to tell my story, to honor my story. Those who need to hear it will hear it, inshallah. Okay, so fourth mindset shift I invite you to make is, instead of saying, I'll never make it, why not say, I will put in the work and trust in Allah for the results. So rather than putting yourself down and saying, I'll never make it, I'll never be published, no one will ever read it, nobody will want to see this, it's never going to see the light of day. Instead of wallowing in that space, I invite you to step into the space of, I will put in the work and leave the results to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I hope that those 4 mindset shifts will benefit you. If you are interested in more of this type of encouragement and reminders with regards to mindset and habits, I invite you to join my free email course in the link below in the description. This is the kind of work that we do in that course, dealing with our own misconceptions, our own negative thoughts, and freeing ourselves so that our writing can take off and we can finally write what we need to write and tell the stories that we need to tell. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of MuslimahWriters Q&A. I hope that it benefited you. I hope you found it useful. Please do like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and pop any questions you have for me in the comments below. I will read all the comments, and inshallah, I could be answering one of your questions in an upcoming episode of MuslimahWriters Q&A. See you in the Facebook group. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.